How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to SCC. On this episode, we're going to be covering top 3 life hacks for 3 cheap parts to try and get the most out of them. First of all, we're going to recap part from last week, the wide crank set, both the cheap part and then heavy duty part that I use on my bikes and where to get it. And then stay tuned for the very end of the video. I will recap the next video, or I'm going to preview the next video that I have coming up, and then everything I have planned for the end of November. So stay tuned at the end of the video for that. Alright, let's get right into it, and get going on the wide crank set, just a little recap from last week. Alright, so last week I went over the wide crank set kit that comes in the Motorized bike kits that you get online. And we kind of reviewed this, and I showed you the gap that's around here. Unfortunately, there's really not a hack for this to keep it clean. It's just based on how much you ride and what environment you ride in. At least once or twice a year, take this apart and clean everything out, clean the bearings out, check them to make sure the cage that holds the bearings is still in place, and then re-grease everything, but not too much, just a light coat. If you put too much in there, then all that grease is going to come out that crack and just go everywhere, get on your pants, things like that. So kind of touchy. Also make sure, like I mentioned last week, that you don't tighten it up too much, otherwise you're going to chew your bearings up in no time. So, and also like I mentioned last week, this is a heavy duty part, the wide crank set. So this one is from sportsmanflyer.com. This is going to be a seal bearing kit. Pretty much everything you need: your snap clips, your seal bearings, your cranks, and the chain wheel. Now, something that you will need: this chain wheel is thicker than the normal ones, so regular bike chain will not work on this one. You're going to have to get at least a 410 or even a 415 chain like you use on your drive side to fit on this chain wheel. And then it depends on the bike you have, but for me, the holes here on the crank that the pedal goes into, on these cranks it requires a different size than that came originally on my beach cruiser, so I'm going to have to get a different set of pedals for this as well. Other than that, well worth it though. Like I said, sportsmanflyer.com. Looking at about $150 plus shipping. Well worth it. Install it. About under 5 minutes for installation, and no maintenance at all. You'll never have to worry about this again. Okay, our first life hack is going to be the throttle that comes with the kit here. It's going to be the basic throttle with a built-in kill switch. So inside here, on the end, you're going to see a little metal pin right there. So basically how these go on is you put your throttle over the handlebar, you mark where that pin is going to go, you drill a hole into your handlebar, and that pin sits into that hole in your handlebar. Tighten everything down. That way when you twist your throttle, it keeps the housing from moving. They used to have a plastic pin on here. I remember on my first build, I got everything set. I was ready to start it up, gave it a little gas, and it broke right away. So devastation city for me, since I was kind of out of luck there. But I did find a little bit of a hack that did work for me. So in that case, what I did is I lined it up, and then I drilled a hole in the top here straight through. And then when I put it back on the handlebar, I just added a screw straight through the housing into the hole. Just be careful not to tighten it up too much, because then you're going to crack that plastic housing. So they did upgrade. I do see they do have a metal pin in here now, but the metal pin is still seated in a plastic housing, so don't know how well that's going to work. But if it does break, like I said, drill a hole in there, run a screw right through there into the handlebar. Be careful on tightening it up, and that should keep everything stable and get you going. If you do want to upgrade to an aluminum housing, they are out there, and they run about 20 or 30 bucks shipped. So that's a hack for the throttle. Okay, this is a second hack. This will be on the little half-gallon peanut gas tank that comes in the kit. So one of the main things that I've always ran into with these is a leaky cap. So whether it's just a little dribble out of there, or whether it pretty much just pours out of there, It's always been, I've always ran into it on every single one of my builds, whether it's right away or a month down the road. The seal on here does not do a good job, and you have gas leaking over your engine and blowing back on your legs when you're riding down the road. And there's not a whole lot of options out there for different gas tanks, unfortunately. And the other option out there that is out there runs about $200-300. So in this case, I'll show you a little hack to get you through on this one. So basically, take your cap off, and you're going to have a little rubber gasket on here. So take that off carefully so you don't rip it, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, for this you're going to need a scissors, a pen, and a bike tube. So what you'll do is you will cut your tube. You're going to go a little bit wider than what that gasket is for the gas cap. You're going to cut a little piece off, and then you're going to cut it this way so you can open it up and have a flat piece. So you'll lay that down flat, and then you will take your gasket that we took off our gas cap, lay it on there. We're going to take our pen, and you're just going to mark around. And then on the inside, you mark around there. So you're going to have an outline of your ring. And then all you do is you're just going to cut that out until you have little rubber rings. So basically what this is going to do, I used anywhere from 3 to 6 depending on how my original seal, how thick it was and how well it was made. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your original one back on, just like it was when you took it off. And then you're going to make sure that slides down all the way. Okay, good. And then you're going to take your ones that you just cut out of the inner tube, and you're going to slide those down as well. Now, you're basically going to have to play with it a little bit, so you're going to have to put one on, tighten it down, try it out, and then if you're still leaking fuel out of there a little bit, then you're just going to put another one on and keep building it up. It's a fine line. You don't want to be too tight, otherwise you're going to it's not going to vent, and then you're going to create a vacuum, and it's going to block the fuel from getting into your engine. So just put one layer on. I mean, it's super thin, it's just a bike inner tube, and just keep on building it up until you stop that leakage coming out of your gas cap. So really simple, only costs a couple bucks for a bike tube unless you got one laying around, and it's worked for me on every single one of my builds. Okay. Our third life hack is going to be the sprocket, the rear drive sprocket for the engines that come in the kit, otherwise known as a pineapple adapter. So you have all your bolts, you have your 2 rubber pieces, your 3 metal washers, I guess you could say, on the back, and these attach to your spokes. This is probably the most hated part for me on a bike because there's no lateral adjustment. Once you attach it to your spokes, it's there. Plus, there's really no way to get it perfectly centered on the hub either unless you play around with it a lot. My last video, I tried installing one of these, and I was at about 40 minutes, and I still had a lot of adjustment to go, both centering on the hub and as far as the alignment to where the engine would be. So I came up with a hack. Super, super simple, and it only takes a couple seconds for the hack. So what's the hack for it? Here it is. Get the rear sprocket adapter. This can be purchased from mmbikeparts.com. Super simple, less than $100. They actually start out at $72 and go up to, I believe the 44 tooth is $78. plus shipping, and I do believe they also have a 48 tooth option too. Either way, you're well under $100. Super simple, 3 pieces. It automatically centers on your hub. If you are going to upgrade any part at all, upgrade this part. I actually talked to a kid last week that commented on my video. He was looking for a really cheap build, and I figured it out. Under $600, you can get the bikes that I use. You can get a 4-stroke 49cc engine kit, and you can get this adapter and still keep your build under $600. Well worth it. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the top 3 hacks and also the recap on the last video. I can't thank you guys enough. Well over 1 million views now, almost 5,500 subscribers. Honestly, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing these videos, so please, please, please hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe button. The more views I get, the more subscribers and likes I get, the more videos I can do. So thank you again very much. Next week, I will not be doing a video. It's Thanksgiving weekend, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be spending time with my family, and I'll also be spending that week working on my other channel, getting that ready to debut. So busy week next week. The following week is when I'll be back. I'm going to be planning on releasing multiple videos. So one is going to be installing an engine on this one. And then also I will be doing my first giveaway, so the first of a few giveaways that I'll be doing. And then I'll also be looking at debuting my other channel, which is somewhat aligned with the biking community. So the end of the month is going to be a really busy month, lots of videos to come. Keep those comments coming. If you do have any questions or anything, I know I mentioned this in other videos, but I can't always, for some reason, respond to comments on YouTube. It just doesn't let me all the time, so I do see them, I do get the notifications, it just won't let me respond all the time. So I can guarantee you, if you do want a guaranteed response, please email me at sinistercustomcycles@gmail.com. I will respond. And then also, if you want to keep up with the smaller updates, so little things that whether I'm ordering parts or researching different ideas that don't really warrant doing a 7 or 10 minute video on, you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/SCCMN. So hit me up on Facebook, like, share that page too, and that way they'll give you a chance to keep up with smaller updates. So please stay tuned, keep on watching, and if you have any ideas for a video that you would like me to do, please send me an email, hit me up on Facebook, comment, and I'll see what I can do. So until next time, thank you again so much, enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you at the end of this month.